necessary.
War in your with the hands, that's what I'm all about. Hunger in my eyes, vengeance in my mouth. They don't want no altercation. So don't get critical. It's best that you be easy. The end goes to goodness. Look, flow like a river. It's something like a miracle. Royalty in my veins, loyalty in my ways. Pay back in every verse, plus revenge in my heart. The truth in every word. Bring light into the dark. And I ain't never lukewarm. Shit, I blazing in the season. Got plenty food for thought. Just gotta watch who I'm feeding. And I've been walking with them angels. So I guess I got this pistol for no reason. Niggas barely breathing, criticizing all my achievements. Won't make me weak. Nah, it won't make me slack off. These niggas baby fat. The bear witness, so back off. I be ripping shit like sackcloth. Dumb dogs out. Behind me say I'll come full. No room for emotion. So I pour my heart out. This road hard, but I intend to stay. And if it ain't U.P.K, then they in the way. My niggas righteous, they real, they down to something. Flow well so deep, you drown a motherfucker. Yeah, bro, it's the home. And I don't hate them, bro, just too long to my own. Plus what they believe, hard for me to follow. No right me, no head. And I ain't even inspired to live and sleep in hollow. So when they ask I'm UPK, tell them absolutely. And I ain't sure of my ways for nothing. Gotta execute it. Cause I can never die with my tail tucked between my legs. Shit, I be thinking. Watching my daughter suck in their bed. They so smart. And Alana, she's so beautiful, but they ain't like other babies. And they dead and far from usual. Now I'm missing cause I'm about my father's business. It ain't about the shit I used to do in that 98 the 10, 11, 6. See, without wisdom, this world make you weak. I found out that the truth was bitter. The lies are sweet. Tried everything. I guess me and Yahanna had to meet. Now I make the blind see. And I make the dead speak. And teach both my little girls the day that they lie with a man. They better bring their blood and bed sheets. Chaos match the time. This Glock match my handpiece. And I ain't trying to take them out, but I will defend this house. Or take a check. 44 and then black trench on some hitman shit. She called it 47. Praying for Armageddon. Me and my soldiers dressed for the wedding. Fuck the fame. Ask why tell them I'm loyal to the king. Until the righteous reign. Loyal to the king. I want that straight like a broken chain. Loyal to the king. The devil can't have me. Be some loyal to the king. Bring it hot. Like you bitch like loyal to the king. Until the righteous reign. Loyal to the king. I want that straight like a broken chain. Loyal to the king. The devil can't have me. Be some loyal to the king. Bring it hot. Like you bitch like loyal to the king.
Yeah, Shalom Israel.
Oh.
We are the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding GEN.YAHANNA. We've been teaching the truth about the Bible since 1969, that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. All right. Before we get into the class, all right, I'd just like to run through the schedules of the classes during the week here locally in Trinidad. All right. On Monday, we have the Monday night history class, right, which is done by Priest and Officer Makar Kobal. On Tuesday, which is the Brotherhood class, right, which is tonight. This class is usually done by Priest and Officer Soapiala. I am Priest and Officer Michael. I'll be holding on the class on behalf of Priest and Officer Soapiala tonight. All right. On a Wednesday is the law class, which is done by Priest and Officer Mafkwaya. All right. On a Thursday, we do not have any classes locally here in Trinidad, but from time to time, we stream the classes straight out of Harlem, New York with 12 Shield General Mahaiman. On a Friday, we have the Lashawan Kwadash, right? That class is done by Priest and Officer Yakad. Right? The Lashawan Kwadash is the holy tongue, right? Or the separate tongue or the native tongue of the black. Of the black, Hispanic, and the Native Indian man, right? Here in the I.S.U.P.K, we learn to read, write, and speak Hebrew, right? That class is a good class. You can tune into it, right? On a Friday, right? On a Saturday is our Sabbath service, right? The Sabbath service runs from 10 a.m. in the day till 12 noon, right? The Sabbath service is run by Priest and Officer Soapiala and Prison Officer Yakad, right? And from time to time, you may see other brothers conduct the service as well. All right. Also during the Sabbath service, they also read the Hebrew, all right, and translate it in the English, all right. So if you want to get to know more about the Hebrew, the Sabbath service is a good class to watch as well. All right. On a Sunday, we have the scripture breakdown class. The scripture breakdown class is done by our camp leader, Priest and Officer Galawan, right? Priest and Officer Galawan is the head of the Trinidad and Tobago camp, right? He teaches the scripture breakdown on a Sunday, right? So you could tune in and ask your questions, any questions that you have about the Bible, you can ask it. That class is a highly interactive class, so you can tune in and get your questions answered, right? And these are the classes locally here in I.S.U.P.K here locally, all right? Right, so with that, and also, all right, we also have our Spanish speaking brothers and sisters here in Trinidad, all right? So I will just plug this in one time, all right? Somos la escuela de Israelita de conocimiento práctico universal de mando de GEN.YAHANNA, all right? Si pertenece, all right? Negros americanos, judíos occidentales, haitianos, dominicanos, Guatemala a Panamá, Puerto Rico, Cuba, indios norteamericanos, seminoles, Argentina a Chile, Colombia, Uruguay y mexicano. All right. Entonces, usted son las 12 tribus perdidas de la nación de Israel según la Biblia. Si según venezolano quiere ponerse en contacto con el campamento de Trinidad, llame 290-5173, 290-5173. All right, and also if you want to get in contact with the camp in Trinidad, contact Officer Galawan. He's the head of the Chantabigo camp, right? And the camp number is 290-5173, right? I repeat again, 290-5173, right? If you have loved ones in the prison system or coming out of the prison system, all right? If you need counseling, all right? If you want to get in contact with the school, if you want to become a trooper in the school, you could contact Officer Galawan. Right, the number again is 290-5173. All right, and that is for all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Right. So you're going to get into the class one time, right? And the topic, the topic of the class tonight is fight for your life. All right, because that's what we're supposed to be doing. That's what we're supposed to be doing in this life. All right. And we're going to begin. All right, we're going to begin with Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1. Babakasha. Right, the black, Hispanic, and the Native Indian man, all right, because of the Christian church and our religious leaders today, right, has become docile, right, or for other words, dormant, right? We just take life as it is, right? Nobody fighting to do any better, right? If the system direct you to report people, that is what you do, right? If the system beat you down to the point you just get tired, you just throw your hands up in the air, that is what the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man doing today, because of the Christian church, he doesn't know any better, right? He doesn't know how to war against all these spiritual forces that come against him, right, during his time here on the earth, right? And here in the I.S.U.P.K under commanding GEN.YAHANNA, we teach all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians how to fight for their life, right? How to fight for their nation, how to fight for their families, right? So we'll give me Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1, Babakusha.
The book of Zephaniah 2 and verse 1.
Well,
gather yourselves together.
Wait, say?
Gather yourselves together.
Right? And that's the first thing the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man needs to do. Gather yourselves together, right? Because we can't fight this battle alone by ourselves in a corner, right? Right? When you look around, all the nations did what? They gathered themselves together, right? When you look locally here in Trinidad, right? All the East Indians gather under the what? The Mahasabha, right? All the Muslims in Trinidad gather what? Under the Muslim mosque, right? And all of them get their support from the Arabians in Mecca, right? They send over a lot of money for them to build up their temples and to build TV stations and things like that, right? The Indians do the same thing through the Mahasabha, right? That is how they set up their people with their TV stations and supermarkets and these things like that, right? When you're thinking the average black man had to go to what? The bank to make sure he could secure a loan, right? And he now had a poor house, or if he have a little piece of land, he had to try to pull up that to see if he could secure a loan, right? And if he don't have any in that, well, he can't even begin to enter the bank, right? He can't even begin to get a simple thing like a car, right? And when it was these other nations who are properly set up under their organization, when they go to the bank, right, their people stand the security for them to gain these loans, right, to start these businesses, right? All these things happen through the Masaba. The Chinese people, right, have their Chinese association, right? When you look around Trinidad today, all around, you will see a lot of Chinese supermarkets being open, right? All of a sudden, they just see a building, and when I look around, right, the Chinese man moving, right, and all of a sudden he just start a supermarket out of the blue, right, and these things happen like that because they have the support of their nation, of their people, right, and the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man has no support, right. So when the Black and Hispanic and Native Indian man look around, there is no place in their particular country to help them. But thank God for the I.S.U.P.K under command in GEN.YAHANNA, the black man now has an organization where he can gain that help, where he can begin to redeem himself, right, to take back his life. Understand? And in here, he will learn to fight for your life. Understand? Fight for your people. Continue, Baba Kusha.
Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
Right, and it say, O nation not desired, right? Because the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man today is not desired, right, amongst any of the nations of the world, right? The Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man today, and no matter what country you go to, you understand? Yes, it may have successful people in a job, right, or they might have a business, but as a nation, the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, right, is suffering all through these nations. You understand? All through every nation you go to Brazil, you go to Mexico, to Venezuela, to Colombia, right, Trinidad, right, Grenada, St. Vincent, all about we suffering. You understand where I'm from? Right? In Haiti, you understand? Well, the totally abuse Haiti. You understand? The use all the resources and farm the land so much in Haiti that grass don't even want to grow. You understand? The majority of the forest already cleared and cut down. You understand? The majority of the forest is shrubs, right? And when you look right next door, you understand, to the Dominicans, they have big, massive natural forests under the same land, the same land mass. You understand? But under one slave master, right, they totally farm all the land so much that never rest the land, right, and cause the land even become very difficult to be fertile, right? It can't yield the produce how it used to yield, right? And even when you look here in Trinidad, the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man suffering right through. Understand? Just look in the prison. Look how much Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people in the Trinidad prison. Venezuelans come over here, well, now self the police start to hold them for all kind of crime, men and women. Understand? Because why? They are what? In the bottom of society. They are the ones not desired. Understand? Lavantil is the ones not desired. Understand? Right now, the other nations in Trinidad, the Syrians and the East Indians, all of them would like to see all the entire of Lavantil totally moved out. Understand? For the Syrians to come and occupy it, right? Because it's a nice, massive landmass with a very amazing view in Trinidad. But in this amazing view in Trinidad here, right, in the district of Lavantil, right, it had the best view, but only one thing, understand, that the hate is the people. Understand? Because why? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, predominantly blacks, dwelling in this place called Lavantil, with one of the best views in Trinidad. Understand? One of the best places in Trinidad to visit. Right? Some of the best people they could meet. Right? But why? They force them into a situation like crab in a barrel. And when they force people like crab in a barrel, it's obvious they must fight. Understand? Because nobody had nothing. Nobody don't even have a proper piece of land that they could plant and say they're going to do agriculture. Understand? When they hear from Lavantil and they go for a job, immediately they're not hiring you. Understand? And I could talk about this because I witnessed it firsthand. Understand? Where I remember we went to a particular company to work, right? And a lot of us was from South, right? And it had about 6 or 7 people from Lavantil, right? And we had to write an exam, right? And when we wrote the exam, right, and they put out the results, everybody passed the exam, right? And all the people from Lavantil, right, and in the environs of Lavantil was left out of the job, and it had space to hire them, right? Just because of the area they're coming from, right? It already have a stigma attached to that particular name until it becomes so bad that the people in Lavantil I had to hide with a living. They can't put their own address with a living. Understand? Right? They can't be proud of where they living, right? Because why? They are the people not desired, right? All with blacks and Hispanics and Native Indians dwell in Trinidad. They are the people not desired. And that's where I'm coming from, right? All the people in farming, right? Just the word showing you when people think about farming, all I can think about is farming. Like if the people is only agriculturists, like the car become nothing else. You understand where I'm coming from? That is to show how stigma will be attached to our community, right? You look around, come down south to Library, and that's when I think Library, all you can think about is what? Construction. You understand? Like Library can produce nothing else. Like Library can produce scientists and doctors and lawyers. You understand? They just look at them as the slaves to keep continuing to build the empire, right? All this, right, is what happened to the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, and it's still happening today. We look around, guess what the examples? You understand where I'm from, right? Even here in Point, right, we had Atlantic LNG. When Atlantic LNG was in the boom, right, a lot of people working Atlantic LNG, and now the Atlantic LNG plant built, right? And a lot of the equipment modernized, so they no longer need the workers to get rid of everybody. Understand? You're back to the same old. Why is all the white men, right, making millions of dollars? Understand? And every time they come on the television and the media to talk, understand, the oil always gone and done, but yet they're still here. Understand? Or all the oil wells in the oil field, they're still drilling it. They're still sucking Trinidad dry. Understand? Of everything. Understand? Until it have literally nothing, and then they will do what? Move back to wherever they come from. And the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man will remain right here in Trinidad, and in what? A desolate place. And that is why the Most High telling us we're supposed to do what? Gather ourselves together. Gather ourselves as a nation. And the place that gather yourself as a nation, the place that they learn to fight as a black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man is in the I.S.U.P.K under commanding GEN.YAHANNA. And as we go along, we will know why this is the place to fight, right? To Babakusha.
It's 2. Before the decree bring forth.
Go ahead.
Before the day pass, as the sharp, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you.
That's right, understand? Before the Lord decide to send Christ to visit you on the face of the earth, understand? To stop this madness that happening on the face of the earth, understand? This year is the Most High given we chance. This is the Most High mercy that coming upon the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. Understand? It's time for we to start to fight for our lives. Understand? Time for me to give up cigarettes and weed. Understand? It's time for me to eat better. Because the Bible has a dietary law. Understand? Where we were not supposed to eat things like pork and shrimp and crab and lobster. Understand? And rabbit and conchs, right? And snake and bat. All these things are not food. The black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man of old times in the nation of Israel, right? Because the black man is the true Jew of the Bible, not these white Ashkenazi Jews who sticking up in Jerusalem saying that they're Jewish, right? The real Jews is the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, right? And the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man needs to do what? Come back and start to operate under the laws, statutes, and commandments that the Most High gave us to follow and to keep. Right? Continue, Baba Kusha.
Before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you.
Right, and before that judgment day come with the Most High, right? Send back Christ, right? To gather a people and set back up his righteous ruling government on the face of the earth. Right? And when Christ set back up that righteous ruling government on the face of the earth, right? It will have no homosexuality and lesbianism. Right? Right? It will not, people won't be committing adultery. Right? These things would not go unpunished, right? In the kingdom of the Most High, right? This earth will be run by proper laws that's supposed to govern and build a nation, right? Nothing operates without law. Understand? If you're driving a car, it has Salakia. If you're driving a car, it has rules. Understand? For you to operate a car by, right? And if you don't follow the rules, yes, the car might drive. Understand? But it will deteriorate very fast, and it might make it very far, right? So not because the car driving, right, mean that you don't have to follow the rules, right? Because as I drew the example before in a previous class, understand? If you throw oil in the radiator where the water is supposed to go, right, and you take the water and you pour it in the engine, right? Yes, it might go, understand? Surprisingly, but it wouldn't go far. Understand? And that's what happened to the earth today. Understand? The white man ruling the earth with no laws. Understand? Right? He wants to do what he wants. And when you look at the earth today, everything upside down. Right? Man sleeping with man, woman sleeping with woman, who committing adultery. Understand? People eating snake and bat. Right? People sick in the hospital with gout and syphilis, high in HIV. Understand? Now when you look around today is COVID-19. Understand? And all these things is disease that could have been prevented. Understand? But why? The world totally upside down today. Understand? Because why? The world is not run by the laws, statutes, and commandments. Understand? The rules to govern this place, right, is not used to run this place. And that is why the earth totally falling apart today. You understand? We literally watching our entire kingdom falling before our eyes. And the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man had to take notice. Right? Give me John chapter 5 and verse 2, Baba Kusha. The black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, understand? Here in the I.S.U.P.K under command in GEN.YAHANNA, here you will learn to fight. Understand? Here you will learn to be a better man, a better woman. Right? Here we learn to understand the Most High's ways, the Most High's spirit. Right? We're going to understand the Most High's judgment. Well,
the book of John 5 and verse 2. Now there is at Jerusalem by the
Salakia. 1 John 5 and 2, Baba. Salakia.
The book of 1 John 5 and verse 2. By this we know that we love the children of the Most High.
Right? So this first part say, by this we know we love the children of the Most High, right? And the children of the Most High is the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, right? And this is how we're going to know that we love black people. Continue, Baba Kusha.
When we love the Most High.
Right? So the first part say when we love the Most High, right? So to love black people, you have to love the Most High, right? Continue.
And keep his commandments.
Right? But we gotta keep his commandments. And that's where I come from. Right? This is the only way for we to love the Most High. And by keeping the Lord's commandments, that's how we show we love the Most High. And in that process, we will love the Most High's people. Understand? Because you can't love the Most High's people. We can't love one another, right? Without laws and rules and regulations. Right? All nation, everything designed on the face of the earth made to operate by laws and rules. Right? We can't see God to hug God. Understand? But we could keep his laws. We could keep his statutes. We could keep his commandments. Understand? We could not be homosexuals. We could give up weed. You understand where I come from? Right? We could give up pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. These are the things we could do. That's how we show we love the Most High. Understand? Right? And by me giving up weed, somebody else go be able to give up weed. Because why? Now we have an example to follow. Understand? By me not being a homosexual, now somebody else could not be a homosexual. Understand? Now we could start a pattern where the world coming back in right order and not the madness that's going on in the world today. Continue, Baba Kusha.
For this is the love of the Most High.
So this is the love of God, right? This is God's love. Continue.
That we keep his commandments.
That we do what?
Keep his commandments.
That is what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to keep the Lord's rules, keep the Lord's regulations. Continue, Baba Kusha.
And his commandments are not grievous.
Right? And he say commandments are not grievous. Understand? Right? The way of the Christian church want to make it out and say the Lord's God's laws done away with. Understand? Because no man could keep it. Because it's too hard to keep. That is not true. That is a lie from the pit of hell. Right? A lie from in this dirty, nasty place that the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man dwelling today. Hell. That is what that lie make up. That lie make up in the Christian church. Understand? That is flooded with black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people. Understand? And that's why we need to come out of the Christian church. Right? Because they're telling us that lies in there. Understand? According to the Bible, we could keep God's laws. Understand? And if you look at, for example, look at the I.S.U.P.K under Commander GEN.YAHANNA. Look at all the captains, officers, troopers, sisters. Understand? Come in and be a student in the I.S.U.P.K and learn how to keep God's laws. Learn how to fight for your life. Learn how to be a better man and a better woman. Learn how to build a nation. Learn how to return to being a priest and a king on the face of the earth. Right? You will jump over to John chapter 4. Stay in 1 John and I'm going to chapter 4 and verse 20, Baba Kusha. Right? This is how we learn to fight, man. You understand? By keeping the Most High's laws. Understand? That laws on every topic you can think about. Marriage, sex, homosexuality, right? Weed. There are laws on drinking. Yes. You understand? The black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man could drink, right? But they're not supposed to be becoming a drunkard and lying down on the side of the road and that'll pick you up, right? Because you lie down somewhere in a drain, right? Or you're drinking up all your income, right? You can't mind a trend because it's alcoholic, right? You're beating a wife because it's an alcoholic, right? It has laws to govern everything on the face of the earth. Right? Continue, Baba Kusha.
The book of 1 John 4 and verse 20. If a man say, I love God, and hated his brother, he is a liar.
That's right. He says he is what?
He is a liar.
Right? Because that's what the Christians should do. They say they love God, and right among them, they hate the people together with them, man. Right? That is what is going on in the Christian church. Understand? In the Salakia, in the Muslim mosque, right? In the Mandir, understand? Because some of we people turn in Hindus and all. Understand? When they hear what Indian arrival come around, we have better sari and whatever the man does wear than the East Indian people. You understand where I'm from? Right? That's how sad the society too. Understand? Right? We hate you, brother, man. Because you know why? You know why the Christian pastor hate you, brother? Right? Pastor Coffee, and T.D. Jakes and Creflo Dollar, right? And the next man in Deliverance Temple, right? The reason why they hate the brother, because you know what I tell them? They tell them God's laws done away with. That is how, understand? We know they hate the brother. Understand? Because we want to do? Continue being a homosexual. Continue eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. Understand? For him to become what? Filled with disease. Right? And they're dying in the hospital. Right? When they release some of the statistics of COVID in Trinidad, right? The majority of people, right, that get to discover dying with people who had comorbidity. Understand? People filled with disease. Understand? The black man done suffering, the done gain we, the water and the gave we to drink not good. Understand? And on top of that, when we don't follow the rules of God, now we add into the already bad condition we under. You understand where I'm from? Right? Imagine the water in Trinidad, and people don't even study that. The water so bad in Trinidad that bottled water selling off the shelf like thing good. You're not even considering trying to drink pipe water. First, it's bad. You understand where I'm from? Buying bottled water come like a default for some people. You understand? And those who can't afford it, forced to drink wherever Moby coming out the pipe. You understand? Wherever Moby the mix in WhatsApp. You understand? If you can't afford bottled water, no, you just have to drink that. And pray and die. And praying your children get sick and end up in the hospital. That is how sad it is for the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. Right? And that is why we know the Christian pastor don't love. Understand? Don't love your brother. Don't love your people. You understand where I'm from? Right? I paraphrasing that scripture said when the Moses say, right? You only have I love of all the families of the earth. You understand? And that is why what? We as brothers and sisters in the truth. Because why? Every nation is our family. And the nation of Israel is our family. That will make us brothers and sisters. You understand? That is what makes us bond together. We bond together with our family, with our nation. You understand? The white man has his nation, the Indian man, you understand? 18 families on the face of the earth, right? And the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man belong to the nation of Israel. We are the true Jews written up in the Bible. Right? Continue, Baba Kusha.
For he that loveth not his brother, whom he hath seen, how can he love the Most High, whom he hath not seen?
That's right. You understand where I'm from? Right? In order, and this is the rule. You understand where I'm from? Right? Every time we want to love the Most High, the only way for we to show that we love the Most High, we have to love the people around we. That's the only way. It can't no other way. None. No other way is for than loving the people around we. We brothers and sisters. That is how we know you love the Most High. You understand? You can't love the Most High and hate your own people. It don't go opposite. You understand? To love the Most High, you have to love your brothers and sisters. Right? And that is what the Christian church will tell you. The Christian church will lead you to fight. You understand? And to bicker. Right? Why is the pastor on top drawing all the money and driving away in the Mercedes? You understand? That is what that is the environment the Christian church has breed. You understand? Right? They will tell you the laws done away with, and they could smoke weed, and they could smoke cigarette. You understand? From when you're slowly killing yourself, slowly, one puff at a time. Them just watching you dying away. How I can love you when I'm watching you dying away, and I ain't telling you nothing. You understand where I'm from? Right? It's better I tell you something. Mad. You understand? At me for telling you the truth. You understand where I'm from? Than I ain't say nothing at all. Because then I'm killing you. It come like I holding the knife and stabbing you. You understand? And that's how real this is. Right? And that is what the Christian pastor is supposed to do. You understand? And the Christian pastor does do what? Lead us astray. You understand? Why he take advantage? Because all he's studying is what? Money. Filthy lucre. You understand? All he's studying is to do what? Stay on top. You understand? Because that is what this world does teach. To fight, to stay on top. You understand? And push down everybody else. That is what we learn in the world. But in the truth is something totally different. You understand? Here in the I.S.U.P.K under command in GEN.YAHANNA is something totally different. You understand? And here, just like Jeremiah man, he say, and here we not here to serve ourselves. You understand? We're here to serve others. You understand? And the more we grow and the more we become strong, and the more people we are to serve, and the more responsibility we are to take on. Understand? And that is how we're supposed to be as a nation. But according to the Christian church, it's totally opposite. Everybody here on top and everybody serving him. That don't happen in here under command in GEN.YAHANNA. Right? That was the end of that, Baba Kusha.
What was 21?
Read verse 21. Am I here?
And this is the commandment have we from him, that he who loveth the Most High loveth his brother also.
That's right. You understand? Just like we were saying before, he who loved the Most High, it comes together as a package. You understand? That is the only way we can say why we love God. You understand? The two have to come together. We can't love God and hate your brother, and we can't hate your brother and say we love God. Two have to come together. You understand? Right? And that is why the Christian church fail miserably. Miserably. You understand? Because what so much fight. You understand? All of us used to go to church at one time or wherever, mosque or Mandi, it wasn't. You understand? And we know the battle and the struggle inside it. And I know what happened. It has nobody, you understand, upright enough to do what? Solve the problem. Solve the issues. You understand? But in the I.S.U.P.K under command in GEN.YAHANNA, here different. Here, you understand, we learn to fight. Here we learn to solve the issues as men and as women. Understand? And to do it what? The right way. To do it what? The upright way. Right? And to do it the way that the Most High say to do it. Right? Give me 1 John. What was that? 21?
Yeah, 1 John 4 and verse 21.
All right. All right. Give me Mark. Give me Mark chapter 12 and verse 29, Baba Kusha.
The book of Mark 12 and verse 29. And Yahushua answered him, the first of all the commandments is, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord.
That's right. Understand? Right? Let me catch up with you here. Right. Right? And he says the first command, right? The first of all commandments, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one God. Go ahead to verse 30, Baba Kushan.
Verse 30. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul.
Right? Go ahead, continue.
And with all thy mind. And with all thy strength.
Right. So this is the first commandment, right? That we should love the Lord, right? With all we heart, we soul, we mind, and all we strength. Right? And that's with the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. That is the order we get from Christ. Understand? This is what we're supposed to do. But remember, just as we are saying in the verses we read before, understand? To love God, we have to do what? Love we brother. Understand? So in order to fulfill this first commandment, we must be able to love we brother. But we can't fulfill this first commandment, right? Continue, Baba Kusha.
And the second is like namely this.
Right? And the second is like namely this. Or he's saying like the second is equal unto this. Go ahead.
Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
You shall do a love your what?
Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
Go ahead.
There is none other commandment greater than these.
Right? And the reason why that none other greater than these is because when you could do these two, you will fulfill all. Understand? Right? When you could fulfill, when you could love your brother, right? You will do what? You will love the Most High, right? And you wouldn't watch your brother go down the drain smoking weed, right? That's the I.S.U.P.K. under command Gen.YAHANNA. That's why we just go out in the street, right? On the radio, right? And make classes on the internet, right? Telling the people, right? Telling blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that it's time for we to do what? Fight for our life. You understand? Time for we to fight. You understand? And stop smoke weed. That is a good fight to be in. We ain't talking about a physical fight, right? With only arms. I mean, we go defend ourselves, right? If we have to, right? But this is what? Not a physical fight. You understand? This is a fight for what? We life on the face of the earth. You understand? All the things that plague us. You understand? This is a fight to fight what? Adultery. You understand? If you could fight and win the battle with adultery, things like HIV go down, herpes go down, syphilis go down, them sexually transmitted disease go down. You understand? Because what? Every man, you understand, go know to what? Leave a next man's wife alone. You understand? And immediately disease stop spread. Immediately HIV drop. Immediately HIV drugs can't sell again. Understand? The white man had to go and come up with something else. Understand? Just by following what? One law. Understand? Right? If we stop being homosexual, things like what? HIV drop in. Understand? Right? Or all them women who looking for men and can't find none, they will get husbands now. Because know why? The men in society is no longer homosexuals. You understand where I'm coming from? Right? The nations will be no longer would no longer abuse us. Understand? In the way they abuse us, right? Throw you out the store. Understand? The reason why they can do that because we're not together as a nation. Understand where I'm from? Throw you out the supermarket. Understand? Right? And how we in them supermarket holding up sign, I am a thief, and all these ridiculous nonsense that is do, right? And when there people thief, you're not even seeing the face on the news. They're not even putting the face on the papers. They're blowing it out. Understand? And when people find ourselves in these complications, that we face big and bold print up. Understand? Close range, again, a close mug shot for everybody to make you out. Understand? To try to do what? Embarrass you. Understand? To try to degrade you. Understand? And then they're going to talk about the area you come from and how everybody from that area is no good. Understand? Look, what are they talk about Lavantil? You understand? And Beaton. And like if it has no good people inside it, like everybody just get brand. You understand? That's how ridiculous it gets. What's it the Beaton, right? On a waterfront in Port of Spain, and it's the worst place, the worst type of water you could see there. You understand? Somehow the water in front of the Hyatt cleaner than on the Beaton. And both or the same water join up together. That's how ridiculous it gets. You understand? So you lead them in the muddy cesspool and in front by the Hyatt, where all the tourists and businessmen and things come in, they clean. You understand? Right? So which means if you could clean up in front of the Hyatt, you could clean up in front of the beton. You understand? But they just literally don't want to do it. You understand? Some of these people don't even have running water, lights. You understand? And we in 2021. Understand? And these people struggling for their what? Basic needs. And the reason why the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man struggling for basic needs is basically because why we disobey the Most High. So now we in hell. Understand? Now we struggling. Understand? To put bread on the table. Understand? Now we struggling in the corona, depending on the government, right? For help and for hamper and or for a check. That is where the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man reached to. Understand? Right? If Christian church was really the liberal and the savior people, why the Christian pastor didn't say, all right, everybody who have COVID line up, understand? And you come to church this Sunday and you'll be healed of COVID. All of them do, all of them run. You understand? Right? The point of the program on the TV, but the church, the staying far from the church. Then healing nobody from corona. All kind of things that was healing before. Understand? All kind of spirit and demon and all kind of things that they're casting out. Understand? Taking out things from man belly and all kind of things. But as corona reach, nobody can heal that. Go ahead, Officer Bayer.
Yes, yes, and Ponty Christian church so wicked. All this money that they'll be picking up from people and building all these mega churches in a time like this, they're helping nobody, but they're still going to the government and asking the government for money to help the congregation. That's another way for them to steal more money.
That's right. You understand where I'm from? Right? And just recently the pastor that found with 29 million in the church, right? And another 5 million in the house, right? And check. The checks didn't change yet, right? And in the church had 29 million in cash, right? And the government in Trinidad and Tobago decided to change the currency. And when the government in Trinidad and Tobago changed the currency now, this pastor ended up with a whole set of money in the old currency, and he had no way to account for it. You understand? Because all them bad deal, right? And people he bribe and people he rip off. He had no way of showing proper receipts how we obtain all this 29 cash. You understand? And the police service in Trinidad end up seizing the money, right? And just of recent ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, well, he finally get charged for the offense, right? And they placed him on a $1 million bail, right? Because why? Right? He ripped off, and the majority of the people in the church was Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people, right? And this church was run by Elam, a so-called East Indian. You understand? And the majority of the people is we people. Understand? And he ripped them off. Understand? So bad that the people in the church was still fighting. Understand? To save their pastor. You understand? And imagine the police, right, had to find him guilty in order for the people just to believe that he do wrong. I tell you how sad it is. How sad the Christian church become. You understand? Right? And that's why we tell the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man to do what? Come out of the Christian church. Right? Come out of the Muslim mosque. Right? We is not Arabs. You understand where I'm from? Right? And in fact, right, in the Atlantic slave trade, right, when the Native Africans sold the Negroes, right, in the Atlantic slave trade to the white man, the Arabs is who build the boats that bring we across here. You understand where I'm from? Right? Even this boat, the Fatel Razak, that come in 1845. I believe that one was Arab made as well. You understand where I come from? Right? So it's a lot of I think the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man participating, right, right? And try to identify it. And these are the people who oppressing us every day in society. Understand? And the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man have to wake up and realize, understand, right, that if he don't fight for his life and fight for his nation, he will continually and perpetually be oppressed. Understand? Under all these nations on the face of the earth. Right? Without any more scripture, Baba Kusha. Mark 12 and 29.
The book.
I believe it reached the ending of 30. Read verse 31, Baba Kusha. Mark 12 and 31, Baba Kusha.
The book of Mark 12 and 31. And the second is like, namely this: thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
That's right. Right? So we had to love we neighbor ourselves. I want to say we neighbor ourselves. It means the black man had to love blacks, Hispanic, and Native Indians. The Hispanic man had to love blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. The Native Indian man had to love blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Right? We had to start to love we own people first. You understand? In order for our nation to build back. Right? And that's something that's very hard for the black man to do today. You understand? We always worrying about everybody else. What about the Chinese? You understand? What about the East Indian? What about the white man? We always worrying about everybody else, but we never worrying about the own people. You understand? When the majority of our people is in absolute dismay. You understand? Right? The government in Trinidad and Tobago trying to put a program for the homeless. And when they run these statistics, the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian population is the highest in the homeless people in Port of Spain. Highest. You understand? San Fernando is the same thing. Highest set of people. You understand? A lot of people, right? In the San Fernando district, right? Homeless, right? And many of them they're not mentally challenged as to go in a health institution, but they're homeless. They have nowhere to live, nowhere to start a life. You understand? You can't even get a driver's license because you have no address to put on the driver's license. You can't get an ID card because you have no address to put on the ID card. That is how sad it is. And you need identification as the first way to get a job. So which means you literally have no hope. You understand? Unless some type of intervention come to release you from that burden. You understand? And if you want release from that burden, you have to come in the I.S.U.P.K under command in GEN.YAHANNA. You understand? Contact the school number. Call the school number before. The school number is I'm gonna go back and get the school number for I.S.U.P.K Trinidad. All right? It's 2905173. Right? The camp leader is Officer Galawan. Right? He's the head of the Trinidad and Tobago camp. Contact the camp. You understand? Because these are the things Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people facing. You understand where I'm from? You absolutely homeless. You understand? Right? It are people. Right? I know the COVID come and totally lock down everything. But a lot of people, right, who absolutely homeless, who during this whole COVID situation here, the government don't even know where these people are, where they're going to sleep in the night. You understand where I'm coming from? People storing the clothes in bags, right? And going and store it between businesses or places where they know that the belongings could stay in the bag. And then they're going out and hustle in the city during the day. They might wash car or sweep in front of storefront or whatever they're doing just to make a dollar. And then in the night, they're coming back, understand, and try to make up a bed somewhere on the side of the street to sleep. Understand? Right? And that is how ridiculous it is in Trinidad. Understand? And the Christian church, understand, what they're going to do? They're going to run out, understand, and give you some bread and sandwich and take out some pictures and say, well, we just help. Understand? And the government giving them millions of dollars. Understand? Just when the COVID started, understand, twice the churches get bailout during the COVID-19 twice. You understand where I'm from? And what it's still a homeless on the street. Where down Officer Bayer?
Yeah, another thing I remember too. The government gained their money to feed the poor. So I have certain money that I have.
That's right.
And the Catholic churches still run ad on the radio telling people donate money. If you get $200, you can feed poor people.
That's right.
So they're still asking for more money from the general public, and the government needs money on top of it.
On top of it. You understand where I'm from? Right? And that is actually ridiculous to getting. You understand where I'm from? Right? And the churches are becoming richer and richer and richer, and the money not trickling down to the people on the street. You understand? Right? And these are the people we're talking about who not mentally challenged. So the people who mentally challenged now, them absolutely have no hope. Understand? Right? Unless what? Somebody intervene. Right? And thank God for the I.S.U.P.K under command of GEN.YAHANNA. Because now the work could go down on the ground. Now we could start to intervene in these communities. Understand? Right? Subscribe to the I.S.U.P.K platform on the Facebook and the YouTube. Right? And the Instagram. We have TikTok, where the TikTok was given a trouble tonight. Right? But we have we also on the social media TikTok platform. Right? And also on the Twitter platform as well. And subscribe if you know people need help. Right? Call the number in the school. The number is on the Facebook and YouTube platforms, and on the Twitter and the TikTok platforms. Right? Call the number. Right? If you know somebody need help, you might need help. Understand? But you might know somebody who need help. Understand? You might know some youths who need that level of guidance. Understand? You might know. Understand? And now we'll be able to point them in the right direction. Understand? Help them now to be able to stand up on their feet and be somebody and not just waste the life away in the corner. Understand? Because that is where I was heading. They're heading on the corner to waste my life on the corner. Because that is where you grow up, on the block. After you leave home, it's out the road. That is where you know. Understand? That is the life you know. Understand? Until what? I.S.U.P.K under command in GEN.YAHANNA. You understand? Now we life on a different course. You understand? Now we no longer running down weed. You understand? I'm coming from and cigarettes. You understand? Life heading in a different direction. Now we no longer destined. You understand? To be in prison for heinous crime and murder. You understand? We might get in prison for the truth. You understand? But it wouldn't be for heinous crime. You understand? Right? Or some type of lewd corruption. That is what the I.S.U.P.K under command in GEN.YAHANNA do. You understand? Deliver the oppressed. Right? And when we get delivered, we going back to deliver those behind. We ain't sitting down in the Christian church. You understand? Right? And warming up the seat every Sunday. You understand? When we get delivered, we seat is for somebody else now. You understand? For somebody else to get that help. Salakia, give me First Peter chapter 4 and verse 12, Babakasha. Yeah, the black and Hispanic and Native Indian man is in a terrible situation today. You understand? A very terrible situation. Right? And everybody, right? All the radio, the TV, right? All the media, even the print media, talking about the condition of the black man, but nobody not actually doing anything about the problems of the black man. You understand? The churches talking about it, but nobody actually doing anything about it. Right? Go First Peter 4 and verse 12, Babakasha.
The book of First Peter 4 and verse 12. Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trials, which is to try you.
That's right. You understand? The fiery trials will come to try you. You understand? As soon as you say you come in the ISP under command in GEN.YAHANNA, as soon as you say you're going to pick up that phone call to make that phone call, understand? To call I.S.U.P.K Trinidad and Tobago, or to call I.S.U.P.K Brazil or Haiti or United States or the UK, as soon as they pick up that phone to call, some strange thing coming to happen. Some strange distraction coming to distract you from coming to the truth. You understand? Continue, Baba Kusha.
As though some strange thing happened unto you.
As though some strange thing happened unto me. You understand? It's looking strange. You understand? You come with the truth, you put on all black. That doesn't mean everything will run good. But one thing we could guarantee you, we could teach you how to do what? Fight. How to battle. You understand? How to do what? Throw away that cigarette. And how to do what? Throw away that weed. You understand? Nobody not going to tell you that this was found on King Solomon's grave. You understand? All that ridiculousness. You understand? Who go see a plant and a grave, roll it up in a paper and smoke it? That is ridiculousness. You understand? That's how sad society become. You understand? All kind of Imhotep and Ra, and they're telling them about watch the sun. You understand? And the sun burning out the eyes. You understand? And worship the moon. You understand? The Indian Shiva, growing a ras on the head. Ras is not a black man culture. There's an East Indian custom. You understand? Right? But the Christian church is too busy thinking about making money. Understand? And to buy the next private jet. And to buy the next Mercedes. Understand? To tell you that being a Rasta is an East Indian custom. Right? Smoking weed is an East Indian custom. When the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man came across in slavery, we never come with weed. You understand where I'm from? We was working hard. You understand? Planting sugar cane and coffee and cotton. You understand? And the master beating you. We not time to smoke. You understand? Right? Right? Until what? To gas you up. You understand? And to make you work even more hard. To turn me into a zombie. They begin to do what? Bring marijuana across with them East Indian. You understand where I'm from? And opium. Right? Because that at one time was a big thing down here. Right? Start to bring opium and marijuana and cocaine. You understand? And now it turned to all them fancy pills they're selling now, like what ecstasy and excess and all the different brand of drugs they're selling now. To do what? Gas up the black man and hire like a zombie all over the place. You understand? Walking over the place out of your mind. You understand? Everybody always want to do what? Release the pain. You understand? Not be around this reality. That is the black man number one thing. You understand? Always trying to come out and escape this reality. You understand? Right? So we do what? We smoke weed. You understand? We take cocaine. Right? We take crack. All kind of thing we taking to try to do what? Ease the pain. You understand? And the only how it does have pain is if you're sick. You understand? That's how you know something wrong. You understand? So if I take drugs to ease the pain, I know I'm sick. You understand where I'm from? So then I need help. Right? And you don't want to be taking drugs the rest of your life, because that way drugs does only deal with what? The symptoms. You understand? But you don't get healed. And if you want to be healed, you have to check in the I.S.U.P.K under command in GEN.YAHANNA. That's the only way for you to be healed. Understand? Otherwise, you will continue to, you go in the Christian church, you will go and get baptized, and you will still come out and smoke weed. The same day you come out, you go and smoke weed. You go and take crack. You understand? The dip you a wet lesbian, you're gonna a dry lesbian, you're gonna come out a wet lesbian, a wet homosexual. That's where you're going to come out. You're not going to change, because in order to change, you need rules and laws. Understand? Right? And you need men to guide you, to teach you how to battle in this life. Life in the I.S.U.P.K, you see what? Life is about war. Life is about battle. Life is about strife. Understand? And you have the good times and you will have the bad times. And you have to learn to battle through the bad times when it get rough. right? And the things we doesn't want to do, that's the things we just have to do. That is how it is in the ISUPK under command in GEN.YAHANNA. Understand? Right? The world train we be mind to always track for the easy way out of things. You understand? Never the hard way. You understand? Anything that puts enough resistance, we lay back. That is how they try to quell the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. Any man try to fight, understand? To try to rise the way up, the piety. You understand where I'm from? That is that is how the world does operate, right? But in the ISU and the command in general, we learn to fight as well, as one. Many men fighting as well, one. One mind, one judgment, same speech. Right? Continue, Babakusha.
Verse 13. But rejoice in so much as ye are partakers of Christ's suffering, that when his glory shall be revealed, ye may be glad also with exceeding.
The same things Christ go through, the same thing we are going battles, the same struggles. You understand? The same wars we fight. Every woman. And the only way to win that battle is with brotherhood. Nothing else. We can't win the battle by ourselves. We can't go out by ourselves and win the battle. We have to fight together. We had to fight as one. Right? Give me 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 3, Babakisha. 2 Timothy 2 and 3.
The book of 2 Timothy 2 and verse 3. Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier.
What do you say? Endure what?
Hardness.
Endure what?
Hardness.
Softness.
Hardness.
Endure hardness as a good soldier. Understand? As a good soldier. Understand? Right? It didn't say as a good friend. Understand? As a good soldier. Somebody who trained to fight in battle. Right? Endure hardness as a good soldier. Right? So which means what soldier do? A soldier do what? Fight. A soldier do lie down. Right? And he don't just fight any fight. A soldier will be trained to fight. Then understand there's a different type of fight. And the place to be trained to fight is in the ISUPK under command in GEN.YAHANNA. Inside here, there's a different type of soldier. Go ahead.
No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life.
That's right. He said, no that warreth. No man that in battle. No man that refused to settle for the things in this world. You understand? You refuse to settle for homosexuality. You understand? You refuse to settle for lobster. You understand? You refuse adultery and for fornication. You understand? You refuse to just battle and just to be like a beast, like everybody else on the face of the earth. You refuse that. And no man that warreth entangleth himself in the affairs of this life. The things of this world, we don't entangle yourself in that. You understand where I'm from? Yeah, we might discuss about the things in the world, but we're not entangling yourself in that. You understand? Right? Mike Tyson bite holy heirs. Yeah, bite holy heirs. But we're not warring over that and battling over something that happened in the world. We live in that alone. You understand? We don't have to entangle ourselves in them kind of thing. We main focus in this world, right, is about what? The people in the hospital. You understand where I come from? Right? The people on the streets who homeless. the people who smoking weed, who want crack, the widow and the fatherless. That's who the weed does entangle himself with. You understand? Not with Kamala tell Rowley. You understand? Right? Not what bacchanal or what gossip happened down the road. We don't entangle ourselves with that. You understand? The things of this world, we leave it alone. You understand? The things of this world, you understand? That everybody getting tired with. You understand? Who win the Olympics and who win World Cup. And it. But we're not entangling ourselves. We're not getting in fights and in wars. Understand? Over petty, trivial things in the world. We're not getting entangled in that, Baba Kusha. Go ahead, continue.
That he may please him who had chosen him to be a soldier.
That's right. Understand? That we go do what? Please the Most High, who chose we to do what? To be a soldier. To be a soldier under Christ. Understand? To fight for righteousness. Understand? Right? To fight for a better life. To fight to bring your brothers and sisters out of this hell and out of this captivity. You understand? Out of this hell hole, for want of a better word. You understand? These what we're fighting for, right? And we forgetting the things in the world. You understand? We forgetting the things outside. All we care is about where we people is. You understand? Where we soldiers is. You understand? Where is the 144,000? You understand? Right? We care about sealing the 144,000, looking for Christ's government on the face of the earth. You understand? Crossing the rivers and the stream. You understand? Taking mosquito bite. Balling out your guts on the street until we do what? Seal the 144,000. We looking for a better life, but the better life is not here. It's not here in Trinidad. You understand? Right? We better life is what? Is in the nation of Israel. But this is where it's starting. You understand? It's starting here with we brothers. If we care, fight for one another. You understand? If we care, live with one another, if we can't dwell with one another, understand? Then we fail miserably. We fighting for we people. We fighting for we nation. We fighting to get out the loss. Understand? And all the addictive things that make us hold on to this world. We fighting to rid ourselves of that. Understand? And to be upright. Understand? And have a good conscience in front of the Most High. Continue, Baba Kusha.
Okay. And if a man also strive for mastery, yet is he not crowned, except he strive lawfully.
And that is the Most High set a clear path. And you can't cheat your way into the kingdom. Understand? You can't pay somebody to gain the kingdom. Understand? Right? You have to do this lawfully, the right way. You have to come up the as the scripture say in your hardness, you have to come up the hard way. You understand? When everybody looking to go up the easy way, you have to come up the hard way. When they come up the hard way, that is when you build right. That is when it is an upright soul there. Understand? That is what that is when it's the priest and king of the Most High. You can't cheat away. You understand? You can't have one foot in and next foot out. The black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, understand, need to come in the truth under the I.S.U.P.K, under command in GEN.YAHANNA. Understand? Because in here you will learn to the things that happening to the things that happening to Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people. Now you will get the eyes to see what happening, how they're destroying us. Right? They have commanded GEN.YAHANNA, Black Watch. Understand? Right? Black News, the Black News for the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. You understand? 9 p.m. on Mondays, Wednesdays, Saturdays is 1 p.m. You understand? Tune in to just type in command GEN.YAHANNA on YouTube. You understand? Type in Black News, Black Watch. You understand? Type in the I.S.U.P.K. And you're going to see and understand the condition and the terrible things that happen to the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. You understand? And if we don't have the wisdom and the knowledge to operate in this society, you understand, we wouldn't have a will to fight. You understand? We go want to stay dormant and want to stay docile. You understand? Because we can't see the things that happening to we. We know it's happening to we, but we can't explain why it is happening to we. But here in the I.S.U.P.K, under command GEN.YAHANNA, keep tuning in the classes. Keep watching the Trinidad classes. Right? If in the whatever country, contact I.S.U.P.K in that particular country and keep watching all these classes. Whether it be in Brazil, United States, United Kingdom, Haiti, understand? Canada, wherever it is, keep watching these classes and contact the school. Understand? You'll get to understand the things that the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man have to endure. Understand? And the things we have to give up from this world in order to become a better and a more upright people and become the people who the Most High created us to be on the face of the earth. Right? That was the end of verse. That was verse 5. All right. You give me Matthew 18 and 21, and after I read out these scriptures here, brother, I will close off, right? Start here, Matthew 18 and 21. Start from there.
The book of Matthew 18 and verse 21. Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times? Yahweh said unto him, I say not unto thee until 7 times, but until 70 times 7.
That's right. And that's where I come from. Right? Until what? 70 times 7. Understand? That way the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man need to do. Understand? Now the nation of Israel has laws, so it doesn't mean your issue wouldn't get sorted out. You understand where I come from? But when the issue sorted out, that it is still what? 70 times 7. You understand where I come from? A man come, right? And he ox, he down the entire field. You understand? Right? It's a law, right? In the books of Moses, right? Where they're supposed to sell the ox. Understand? If the man can redeem the amount of damage. Understand? Done to the field. You understand where I'm from? Right? So in the national Israelite laws, right? If a farmer planting, you're not supposed to clean the whole field and take every single thing. You're supposed to leave the corners of the field. The corners mean the borders or the edges of the field for the poor and the desolate. You understand? Now picture a nation running like that. It will never have poor people. No, it will have poor, but it won't go starving and hungry like what we see today. You understand where I'm from? Right? And they won't be looking for food hamper because the nation will be running a specific way. Understand? And when I think about it, when a man have a massive farm with any producing, understand? And they're talking about leaving the borders of the field, you have food for months, for thousands of people. Understand? Because where we just call farming is that is planting. Understand? Whenever the bigger nation is massive. Some of them farms are almost big, like almost 2/3 of our state. massive pieces of land, and without again ridiculous big equipment, you understand, to maintain these farms. You understand where I'm from? Right? So you talking about thousands of people could never go hungry. You understand? You might be rich, you understand, but you're sure you're not going to starve. You understand? Right? And that is the kingdom. That is when the black man, Hispanic man, and the Native Indian man in rulership. You understand? Right? But when you look at today you will starve to death because nobody don't care. Nobody don't care about looking back for the next man. You understand? Because by design, the same structure the Roman Catholic Church set up, that is how all the churches set up. A design that everybody slaving to do what? Serve the head of the church. You understand? And everybody believe that that's how it's supposed to be. Everybody believe, you understand? That is how society is supposed to run. When it was never designed to run that way. Right? Continue, Baba Kusha. Yeah. You're going to what was your reading? Verse 21? Yeah, that was 18. That was Matthew 18 and 21.
Yeah.
Right. Right? That's why the Hispanic and need to come back to the laws, the statutes, and the commandments of the Most High. Right? Because if the black, Hispanic, and the Native Indian man don't follow the laws, the statutes, and the Most High, we will continue to remain in suffering and in pain. Understand? We continue to be number one in HIV and gout and syphilis and cancer. Understand? And many of these diseases come from just simply not following the dietary laws. Understand where I'm from? Right? Some people will say, well, it's years I eat pork and nothing never happened to me. Understand? Until what? When I become old, the doctor will tell you, well, sir, understand, Mr. Johnson, understand, you can't eat meat no more. And he will explain to you why you can't eat meat no more. And the reason why he explained to you why you can't eat meat no more, right, is because why you was eating pork. Understand? Right? Pork, right? Yeah, a certain characteristics or disease, sorry, from eating pork, right, is fluid in the joints. Understand? Right? Known as what? Arthritis. You see, because all the joints deform, right? And a lot of people, this happens to them when they become old. So sometimes you say, but look, I eat pork my whole life and nothing never happened to me, but you don't know that your joints become deformed because they were eating pork. Understand? They do a study on shark recently, right here in the Caribbean. They go all over the Caribbean, all in the Caribbean waters and study shark. And they get to realize that shark carrying a very high lead content. And human cannot, understand, consume lead. That lead poisonous to it. So every time you go on it, you fry and you eat a bacon shark, you poison yourself. And these are things that the Most High already told us way back in the book of Moses that we should not eat. And if we follow it, these things ain't going to happen to you. Right? Continue, Baba Kusha, on the scripture.
The book of Matthew 18 and verse 21. Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how often shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times? Yahushua said unto him, I say not until 7 times, but until 70 times 7.
That's right. Understand where I'm from? Right? We had to fight with one another. We solve the problems, but we fighting what? Not to hold a grudge. Understand? Not to make an issue totally consume or destroy we. Right? Continue, Baba Kusha.
Verse 23. Therefore is the kingdom of heaven likened unto a certain king, which would take account of his servants.
Go ahead.
And when he had begun to renew, one was brought unto him, which owed him 10,000 talents.
Right. So Yahweh Christ draw example of a certain king, right? And when he come to give account of his servants, right? One owe him 1,000 talents. All right. Continue.
But for as much as he had not paid, his Lord commanded him to be sold, and his wife and children and all that he had, and payment to be made.
So the judgment he get for owing the king 1,000 talents, right? The king say what? To sell his wife, sell his children, and all he had in order to recover this payment. That is the judgment that come down, right? Continue.
The servant therefore fell down and worshipped him, saying, Lord, have patience with me, and I will pay.
Right, and when he hear that judgment, he fall down, right, and he started worship the king and say, Lord, have patience with me, have mercy upon me, right? Those sell my wife and my children and my dog and cow, cattle, everything, right? Those sell me. Give me some time to pay. You understand? That is what the black and Hispanic and Native Indian man will be doing every day. You understand? We are be begging courts and Tiantec and WhatsApp, begging them to give me time to pay. You understand? Don't come and take what we have and go and sell it. Right? Continue.
Then the Lord of that servant was moved with compassion and loosened him and forgave him the debt.
Right? So the Lord moved with compassion and he said, right? It would say, he forgave him the debt. Right? Continue.
But the same servant went out and found one of his fellow servants, which owed him 100 pence, and laid hands on him, and took him by the throat.
Now the same man who just get forgiven his debt, gone to the next man, right, which owed him 100 pence. So the next one owed him a tenth, away he just 1,000 talents. This man owe him 100 pence, and he lay hand on the man and took him by the throat. Go ahead.
Saying, pay me that thou owest.
Right. So he said, pay me that thou owest. So he just forget he was forgiven before.
And his fellow servant his feet, and have patience with me, pay thee all.
Right? Now he get forgiven. And when he now went to somebody who below him and what started to what? Pressure that man, right? In order to pay. And he forget that he just received mercy before. Right? Continue.
And he would not, but went and cast him into prison till he should pay the debt.
Right? And he threw him in prison for him to pay the debt. Right? Continue.
So when his fellow servants saw what was done, they were very sorry, and came and told unto their Lord all that was done.
Right, and the come back and tell the king all that the man that you just released from this burden and had so much mercy on him. Right, the come back and say, "What? This is what happened." Right, go ahead.
Then his Lord, after that he had called him, said unto him, O thou wicked servant.
O thou what?
Wicked servant.
Continue.
I forgive thee all that debt because thou desirest me.
That's right. Continue.
should not thou also have had compassion on fellow servants?
That's right. Understand? Right? So it tell him, I forgive you. And now you couldn't even have compassion on the next man. Even less. You understand? You understand where I'm from? He forget, he forget only the mercy he get in the past. Right? Continue, Babakasha.
Even as I had pity on thee, and his Lord was wroth, and delivered him to the tormentors.
That's right.
Till he should pay all that was due unto him.
Throw into the tormentors, because now, you understand, the full wrath and the full judgment come down on him, right? Continue till verse 35.
So likewise shall my heavenly Father do also unto you, if you from your hearts forgive not everyone his brother their trespass.
That's right. And that's where I'm from. And that is in the I.S.U.P.K under commanding GEN.YAHANNA. And that's why we can't hold nothing against nobody. And that's where I come from, whether it be in the past, future, well, we can't say in the future, but wherever time it happened, right? And that issue solved, that is it. And understand? We're moving on. You understand where I'm from? Right? All the things that happen in the world, we have to forget that. You understand? We new men on the face of the earth. We born again. The old we pass away. That old man dead. You understand where I'm from? All we have athletic trophies. You understand? All the gold medals I win. That man dead. I can't even boast, but none of them medals I win. You understand where I'm from? Because that man dead. You understand? And that is what is in the truth. You understand where I'm from? The old you, that old man, that old cigarette smoker, that old weed smoker, that drunkard. You understand? Whoever we was in the world. You understand? They could have been the prime minister in the world. That man dead. You understand where I'm from? We can't bring back no old news. You understand? This is a new start and a new time to be able to set remark in the truth. You understand where I'm from? Right? Become glorious in the truth. Do the things that the Most High want we to do, right? And become mighty men in the truth. Understand? And all the things that we was before, we is nothing. Understand? The scripture says, "Until a man think himself to be something, he is nothing." And I stand from in a class the general teach recently, I believe it was Thursday. And I stand from, they say what the more power you get, is the more you have to serve, the more responsibility you have to take on. And I stand, the more you have to look out for people and look out for one another. And I stand from, and that's how it is in the I.S.U.P.K under commanding GEN.YAHANNA. Right? And with that, I will pass the class over to Priest and Officer Barriat. Everything up here.
Security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohanna. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a brother or sister comes in the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the word. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister.
there is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, you can find this in Numbers 18 and 21 and Malachi 3, 8 to 10, means tenth in Hebrew and is pronounced my Aishara, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocations.
The upcoming holy convocation is the feast of the memorial of the blowing of the trumpets, which is Monday, the 6th September.
Remind Akium and Akwathium to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for I.S.U.P.K events and materials. And just a reminder, we also on TikTok, I.S.U.P.K Trinidad and Tobago. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, like shirts, like pants, like headbands or scarf. And with that, we see I imagine. Turn and face the east. Saying the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabashemaya, Kwadash, Haya, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakwa, Taba'a, Matazaka, Haya, Aisha, Baratiza, Kawa, Haya, Bashemaya, Nathan, Lanawa, Lakam, Kal, Yawam, Wasalaknawa, Kawatnawa, Kawatnawa, Wala'a, Tabayanawan, Banasayawan, Abal, Hawashanawan, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Amalakwa, Waha'ala, Watapara, Yam, Aman. What we said in the English was Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Let's give the teacher one courtesy salute. I imagine Shabbat. I imagine Barak. Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai Brakatah. Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai Brakatah. Yajumata. Let's give the sisters online one courtesy salute. I imagine Shabbat. I imagine Barak. Yahweh Shema Alatan Ba'asham Yahushai. Yajumata. Class dismissed.